And now, Death Valley Days. Howdy, folks. I'm the old ranger, and I have another interesting true story for you about the historic Death Valley country. Amongst the early day women outlaws, the Rose of Cimarron was one of the most famous. What finally happened to her? You'll see in this story, which I call Thorn of the Rose.
Yeah, that'll be $1, mister, and I guarantee you that horse won't lose that shoe until he wears it out. And what can I do for you, lady?
I thought you might like to walk home with me, sir, if you're ready for lunch.
Lunch? Well, I'll be jiggered. It is that time, isn't it?
That's a real nice-looking watch you have there.
Yeah, I'm mighty proud of that watch. My wife gave me that on our 3rd wedding anniversary. Used to belong to her father.
Something to be proud of.
Thank you, sir.
Here you are.
I'll be with you in just a second. That'll be all right till I get back.
You been busy?
Sure have. Seems like everybody coming here for that 4th of July celebration needed some horseshoeing. How's everything coming with the church bazaar?
Fine. I think it's going to be the best one we ever had.
Well, bound to be with you in charge of things this year.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way.
Well, I did. You know how to think and plan things. Those other women, they just run about gabbling like a flock of geese. Oh, howdy, Miss Johnson.
Hello.
Furnish some cookies?
Mm-hmm. I'm right in the middle of them. I had to get some more sugar and vanilla.
How many you make?
I'd have promised 12 dozen.
Never mind what you promised. How many you making? Howdy,
Hello.
Charlie.
Oh, maybe half a dozen extra.
Half a dozen? You better make 3 dozen extra if you want to keep me happy.
As a matter of fact, I'm making 4 dozen extra.
Well, that's better. Now, I could eat my weight in those cookies.
In the 3 years we've been married, I bet you have.
Saw what you did with the decorations for the church bazaar. Howdy, Mr. Calvin. And they're the prettiest we've ever had. It just beats me how you can take those simple things and work such wonders with them. And you went to so much work, too.
Oh, I don't mind the work, Mrs. Thorn, if it'll help raise the money for the pump organ.
Well, when we get it, there won't be nobody who deserves more credit than you. I told the girls that Rose certainly puts us to shame when it comes to community spirit. And it was a lucky day for us when you came to town. And you're a lucky man to get such a wife. Well, I'll have to run along now. Goodbye, Mr. Calvin. I'll see you this evening, my dear.
Goodbye, Miss Warren.
What? Oh, yes. Goodbye.
What are you tying off here for? I thought we was heading for the saloon.
You remember me telling you about Bitter Creek Newcomb's wife, the Rose of Cimarron?
Yeah.
That's her.
That gal with a basket on her arm?
She sure don't fit the description you give us.
No, she don't. But she fits what we need to make our job here a cinch. Wait for me at the saloon.
I sure would like to eat the last piece of that pie, but a man's got to draw a line somewhere.
And I know where you draw it. Right below your chin.
Oh, that's your fault for being such a good cook. I better be getting back to the shop.
Serves you right trying to steal from the church.
Then you better save me some of those cookies if you want to keep me honest.
I guess you're entitled to eat like a bear. You're strong as one.
See you at supper.
How about one of those cookies for an old friend?
I figured some sheriff had gunned you down by this time.
I'm hard to kill, and I know when to run. I've been in Mexico for 3 years. Well, you ain't done bad at losing yourself either. What happened to Bitter Creek?
I buried him after that Ingalls shoot-up. And I buried everything he stood for with him, so whatever you got in your mind, forget it.
What do you want to be so suspicious for? How do you know I ain't reformed too and just dropped by to say hello?
Because the pattern's the same. Special doings in a town, extra money in the bank, and you riding in with the other outsiders.
Well, there ain't no use denying it when the signs are that plain, is there? But there's one thing you ain't got figured. I'm not interested in the old gunslinging Cimarron Rose. My deal is with Mrs. Gil Calvin, the blacksmith's wife, and the town's most community-spirited citizen.
Cimarron Rose or Mrs. Calvin, the answer's still the same. No. Now get. That's Gil. In here. Quick. Well, what brings you back?
I left my keys to the storage shed. I needed to get some wheel fellows I got locked in there. Here it is. My pipe. Oh. While I think of it, I'll take that stew pot you wanted me to mend.
Gil, do you think this last batch of cookies has too much vanilla in them? I'll get the stew pot. Well, what do you think?
Well, it might be a mite too much, but it won't hurt any. Bye.
Better wait a second before you go.
We ain't made our deal yet.
Get out.
You know, I sort of got a feeling when you hid me in that closet, Mr. Calvin ain't acquainted with too many details about you.
Even if it means losing him, you ain't putting any bit between my teeth that way. And if you think I'm bluffing, I'll go with you while you tell him. Then we'll both go to the sheriff while I do some talking.
The old Mexican standoff, huh? Everybody loses. Well, in that case, I guess I won't be doing business with the wife of that big dumb ox.
Gil Calvin's one of the finest men who ever lived, and nobody's gonna call him names.
That was just my way of making sure of something. You left no doubt. Now, either you string along with what I got in mind, or this town's gonna be looking for a new blacksmith.
You're getting no place fast. Gil could break you and all your men with one hand without even working up a lather, and I'd be there, too.
Sure. If you knew who my men were. But you don't. And you don't know whether I got 4 or 6 or 10. So anytime, anywhere, anyone passing you could be the one who's going to cut them down. Now, why don't you just sit down here quiet-like and listen carefully to what I got to say?
Hey, bring us a couple of more drinks, will you? Been cheaper if we'd have bought a bottle.
Well, I would have, but known that was going to be so long. Oh, here he is. all set to pull the slickest bank hold-up any town ever had.
You mean she's willing to throw in with us?
After a little persuading.
Oh, how do you...
I'll have one of those.
How's adding her gun gonna make it any slicker?
I ain't adding her gun, just her shopping basket.
Shopping basket?
Yep. Instead of us grabbing the money and hightailing it out of here with a posse hot in our heels, let her take care of it for us. And we can hang around and enjoy watching the sheriff trying to figure out who to look for.
And after all the excitement's over, we grab the money and ease out of town just like we come in. That's a real slick idea, Matt.
Well, while she's got this money in her little basket, what's going to keep her from handing it over to the sheriff and pointing a finger in our direction?
The thought of bearing about 300 pounds of blacksmith.
Come again?
She don't know you fellas, or how many men I got. So I told her if she didn't perform according to orders, she's going to wind up wearing black.
Maybe she wouldn't mind that.
She wants to keep them alive and kicking. I made sure of that.
I still don't go for it. You're figuring her for an ordinary female, and everything you ever told us about her shows that's the one thing she wasn't.
But that was 3 years ago.
You think changing pastures can change her?
If it hadn't, she wouldn't have made a go of it here, would she? And you can take my word for it. She don't want nothing to happen to bring that to an end.
Sure are a lot of people in town. I guess this would be the most people we ever had for 4th of July. Everybody seems to have a lot of money to spend, too. I sure hope it doesn't rain right in the middle of everything, because there's nothing more unwelcome than a rain and a picnic. Besides, I don't like soggy food. Something bothering you, Rose?
Something I gotta tell you, Gil, and I can't figure how to get into it.
Sounds sort of serious.
It is.
About us?
Us now. But it started with me before I came to town. Did you ever wonder why I never told you much about myself?
Not enough to lose any sleep over.
Well, I used to be the Rose of Cimarron.
Rose of Cimarron? I remember wanted posters on her.
There was plenty of them.
Didn't they say something about her being married to an outlaw?
Bitter Creek Newcomb. He was one of the dueling gang, and I thought it was romantic and exciting to ride with him. Then one day a bullet caught up with him.
I was never so glad to hear a man was dead.
And I suddenly saw myself for what I was.
What you was ain't important.
That's what I thought, but one of the old gang showed up today and made me realize different. So tomorrow I'm helping when him and his men hold up the bank.
Helping rob a bank?
When it closes at 4 o'clock.
But what do you mean by helping?
He's gonna slip the money into my shopping basket as I pass the bank. Then I'm to turn it back to him an hour later at the blacksmith shop where you're looking over one of their horses.
And if you refuse, then he tells the folks who you are. Is that it?
No. If I refuse, one of his men will kill you.
You don't know the pride it gives me to think that you'd do a thing like that for me, Rose. But bullets or no bullets, I can't let you do it. We'll go to the sheriff and I'll have you point him out.
That's just it, Gil. I can't point him out because I only know this one man. And if we do anything out of line, you'll get a bullet without knowing when or where it's coming from.
Look, that still isn't reason
I've
enough
got
for you.
to, Gil.
No.
Please listen to me. I've got to go through with it. That's the only thing we can do. Until we get to the blacksmith shop. That's the one place they'll all be together so we'll know them. You got a shotgun there. Put it where it'll be handy. And when they come in, we'll make our play.
All right, Rose, if that's the way you want it.
When this is over, Gil, if you want to put on your hat and walk out, I'll understand.
Walk out? Me walk out on you? Rose, I've been trying to tell you, I don't care what you were. I see you for what you are. And what you are is the finest thing that ever walked into my life.
Gil.
Where you been?
I've been standing with my ears open outside a certain blacksmith's house. I just saved you an axe for being suspicious of a certain gal.
What did she do, go to the sheriff?
No, but she told her husband the whole setup. They're planning a little surprise party for us over at the blacksmith shop tomorrow.
They are, huh? Red, you just earned yourself a drink. Sit down. Waiter!
Goodbye, and thank you very much.
Get the money, quick. Stuff it in those bags. Gold and paper, never mind the silver. You, come on over here, give him a hand.
Go on, get over there. Come on, hurry it up.
Turn around. Back to your house and wait. In 1 hour, meet us at the blacksmith shop.
Rose, you're just the person I want to see. I've been thinking about those decorations, and I've been wondering if we shouldn't add some more bunting. To me, the 4th of July calls for lots of bunting.
Yes, I think you're right, Mrs. Warren. We'll add some tomorrow morning, first thing.
Oh, that basket seems awfully heavy. Let me carry some of these things.
Oh, no, thanks. I can manage. It's not as heavy as it looks.
Help! Help! The bank has been robbed! Help! Help! The bank has been robbed!
Bank robbery, mercy!
Call the sheriff! Get the doctor! Help! Call the doctor! All right.
Come on, let's see what's happening.
Hey! The bank's been robbed!
We better go act excited like the rest of them.
Make way, folks, and let the doctor through.
We have to see what's happening. Come on.
You go ahead. I'll stay back here.
Oh, nonsense.
Where in thunder is the sheriff?
Did you get a look at them, Sam?
No, they had masks on. They were dressed just like every other cowboy in town.
How much money did they get away with?
They took nothing but paper and gold. Almost 15,000. And when they were ready to go, they knocked us out of their gun barrels.
Good gracious. Anybody hurt bad?
Well, the clerk and the cashier were shook up worse than me, but they'll be all right. The doc's with them.
Well, I never heard the likes of it. A bunch of men walking out of the bank with sacks of money. Nobody sees them. Sounds mighty peculiar. What do you think, Rose?
Maybe they just rode out of town quietly.
If they rode out at all.
Where the heck is that sheriff? If anyone sees him, will you tell him to hurry?
Where is he?
We had a little business to talk over with my boys, so they went to a spot where they wouldn't be disturbed. If I arrive in half an hour with this money, they turn them loose. If not, you're a widow again. I sure enjoyed watching those good citizens running around in circles. Why, they're even accusing the president of robbing his own bank. I don't suppose you'd care to put in with me, would you? Huh? Oh, that's too bad. It'd make robbing banks a real pleasure. Sure has been nice seeing you again.
Matt! Now where is he?
You'll never know.
If you don't want to be branded, Matt, you better talk and talk fast.
Don't, Rose. Don't.
One touch, Matt, just one quick touch, that's all it takes, so you better talk. Now, where is he?
He's on the trail to Oak Creek, right where the canyon begins.
How many are with him?
2.
Is that your whole gang?
Yes.
If you're lying to me, Matt, or if anything happens to Gil, I'm coming back here and use this.
I hate lying.
Take off your hat. Now your vest and shirt.
Anything happen to my wife, I'll hunt you two down and I'll kill you both with my bare hands.
She ain't got nobody to blame but herself for dragging you into it.
And you ain't got but a few minutes for Matt to show up with that money before you get in trouble.
Well, looks like everybody's gonna go his own peaceful way.
Won't make me mad at all.
Hey, that ain't Matt. It's Rose.
What happened to Matt?
He's tied up and locked in the blacksmith shop. Makes a real neat package in his long flannels.
Well, we just might as well add these two to the collection. Climb aboard. Come on, the sheriff will want to see you.
I ain't the only one he'll want to see.
He's right. This time there won't be any doubt about me hanging up my gun. Thanks. I would have felt terrible to forget your picture.
When I find out where they put you, where you'll be, I'll be selling the place and get work close by.
No. No, it'll make me feel better if you stay here and take care of your shop and the house.
But the sheriff says there's no telling what kind of sentence they'll give you. It might be easy and it might be tough.
As long as I know you'll be waiting, I can stand it.
Look, when they have the hearing, I'll be there. And by the time I've spoken my
Goodness,
piece...
Rose, what are you doing with the suitcase? You should be down at the bazaar in a few minutes, getting things started.
Well, something's happened, Mrs. Warren, that's calling me away, and I guess you better take charge of things.
Oh, what a shame. How long will you be gone?
Well, we're not quite sure. It's liable to be... Oh, hello, Sheriff.
Well, I just packed those outlaws off to jail at the county seat, Mrs. Calvin. And I want to thank you again for helping Gil round them up. With Matt Smart behind bars, that's the last of the Doolin gang.
The last of them?
That's right. Bill Doolin and Bitter Creek Newcomb got theirs at Ingalls. And I understand that Cimarron Rose died right after that. So that cleans them up. Oh, it won't be necessary for you to testify against those outlaws after all. So you'd better go get the celebration started.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hodge. Thank you.
Well, come along, Rose. Don't just stand there saying thank you. We're late now. Come on, come on. And I hope you don't mind that I've changed the arrangement.